You know, one of the strange things about this moment, Senator, is these kind of parallel tracks of what you might call sort of abnormal and normal politics. Abnormal politics, the insanity of this sort of authoritarianism. Normal politics being they just passed a really bad bill, a horrible bill that people don't like. It's polling in the latest poll at 33% approval, 57% approval, 57% disapproval. J.D. Vance was in Georgia today trying to, shine it up for folks. How important is it to kind of get the message out about the kind of brass tacks, kitchen table elements of what this party has just done?
Right. So what you've done is you've just uncovered our super secret strategy as Democrats. We're going to get out and tell the truth about what the Republicans have done. Now, remember, a year ago right now, Donald Trump was out there promising everybody on day one he would lower costs. Remember that? Over and over and over. On day one, those were his words, that he would lower costs. He gets interviewed right after he's elected, and he says the reason he won is because he promised on day one to lower costs. We are now on day 214. And the price of groceries is up, the price of utilities is up, the price of housing is up, and the big one, the price of health care is not only up, Donald Trump and the Republicans are canceling health care for about 15 million Americans and driving up the cost of health care for everybody who has private insurance or insurance through their employer, and even putting Medicare at risk. That's what Donald Trump is doing to people's pocketbooks. So our job as Democrats is to get out and talk about that. So this weekend, first I'm going to Minnesota, where I'm going to be there with my friend Peggy Flanagan, who's running for Senate and is a real fighter. I've known her for a long time. So we're going to do a rally together in Minnesota, and then I'm going to Nebraska, and I'm going to be there with my friend Maxwell Frost from the House of Representatives, and we're just going to talk with people about what is happening. We're going to take their questions, because the truth is, Democrats, we're not afraid of the voters. All we want to do is tell the truth about what's happening and then give everybody a chance to vote, and we're pretty sure we know what will happen. And that is, we'll have a government that isn't just about representing billionaires and billionaire corporations. We'll have a government that's about representing the people and actually bringing down people's costs.
You know, that point, the things you just listed, groceries, electricity, healthcare, three of them. I think electricity, by the way, is going to be a sleeper issue this year because we're seeing rates skyrocket like we haven't seen. But it also strikes me, look, the president gets credit and blame, right? We know that. Macroeconomic factors in and out of his control. In this case, the tariffs, they are actively taking electricity generation power off the grid and giving the AI folks carte blanche to build data centers that are going to jack up your rates. And they're taking away healthcare subsidies. This is not just Donald Trump happens to be president while this is happening. They are actively spiking the prices of these things.
That's right. That is exactly right. In fact, look at what he has done with tariffs. Look, I've been pounding on the Fed for a couple of years now to lower the interest rates, right?
Yes, on this show.
Donald Trump wants to see those interest rates come down. That's exactly right. But Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, said last month, he said the Fed would have lowered interest rates last February if it hadn't been for Donald Trump's chaos around the tariffs. And he said, basically, we can't do it because of what Donald Trump is doing. And think about that. That means every single person in America who has a credit card balance that they're paying interest on, people with car loans, people who have loans have paid more, at least since last February, because of Donald Trump's economic chaos. So it's exactly like you said. It's not like, oh, Donald Trump happens to be president while these huge forces are happening. No, it's that he is driving up costs for families. His tariff policies, his chaos, driving up the cost of groceries. His policies around energy are driving up the utilities. Actually, his tariffs again are driving up the costs of building new housing, which we need. And they are really spiking it on healthcare, and that is hitting now, but it's going to hit families big time in the fall when insurance companies start resetting those rates. Look, that's what Republicans do. Because why did they spike on healthcare? They did it so they could give tax cuts to a handful of billionaires and billionaire corporations. It is right there in front of us. It's about running government to make it work for the wealthiest in this country and letting everybody else pay the price for it. And Democrats are here to tell the truth about what's going on and to say, we have real plans to bring down costs for families. Give us a chance in 2026, and that is exactly what we will do.
In the last minute here, I did want to ask you about something going on at the Fed. You mentioned the Fed. As opposed to retreating from the tariffs, which would probably pave the way for rate cuts, instead the president is trying to effectuate a kind of authoritarian takeover of the Fed, to browbeat, bully, and possibly get rid of Jerome Powell, and now is trying to chase out the only black woman to ever serve on the Fed Board of Governors, Lisa Cook. They have concocted what appears to be a farcically, facially preposterous mortgage fraud accusation that they've just ginned up, clearly because they just want to take her seat. And they are trying to do the thing that has been tried in many countries successfully, which is the kind of authoritarian leader takes over the central bank and prints money and lies about the stats.
Yep. You know, but that's Donald Trump's move everywhere. He wants everyone in government, everyone in power, everyone in the country to bow down to Donald Trump. He wants control over the Fed. And then when prices go up, as they are, he wants to be able to blame the Fed. And he also wants to be able to control all those numbers so that he can say, no, everything is great. You know, here are the numbers. Remember the labor, just last week, when he fires the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because he doesn't like the jobs numbers. That's Donald Trump's approach to all of it. Bend down to Donald Trump. Donald Trump will then tell everyone what reality is. Look, that's what authoritarians do. But in a democracy, we don't have to put up with that. We have our voices, we have our votes.